3, 2, 1. We're gonna be live. We're gonna be live at Nakattack, and I are live. Oh well, no, we're not because Nakattack's right there, and I'm fucking not on his screen because I went to post on the general chat. But we are live, and somebody wants to see boobies. Well, boobies are right here. I got boobies right here. Boobies right here. I'm playing with my titties just for you. TightSpot, Danya. Thank you for joining us, you crazy lady. We've been going through a lot today. But today is the day that we talk about TightSpot's Lounge and our thoughts on Rambo 5. Last Blood. Woo, Last Blood. Oh my god. But Nakattack, let's get into our weeks that we've been away. How was your weeks? Anything exciting? Anything not involving healthcare? But we'll talk about that here in a second on my end. But how's life going for you, Nakattack?
That's all right. Kids transition from school to summer camp, and it's always stressful when there's going through a transition. They're still at a young age where they just can't do it smoothly. So
Yeah. That sucks. We do have a couple people in the chat, so thank God for that. I love that. Thank you for all stopping by. I didn't know if anyone was going to show up, but you guys definitely have showed up. My wife's in the chat. Knack Attack's in the chat. Dr. K looks like is in the chat as well. And if anyone else is here, let us know. Please let us know your thoughts on Rambo 5. If you have watched it, it's on HBO Max or available at your local library. But I watched it on Max, and yeah, we'll talk about that here in a second. But my life has been all right. My brother came out and visited us this week. Well, visited me. As everyone knows, my wife is in Utah right now. But today and like this week, like the signs have been pointing to Utah fucking us over in the healthcare system. My wife has been denied Medicaid due to the fact that she won't be staying in Utah after the fact that her stay at the facilities are over, whenever that will be. Supposedly, there's a question in the call in interview, or where the hell they called us and asked the question that will she be staying after the fact, after she leaves these facilities. So basically, you have to stay in Utah even though you don't plan on staying in Utah because your original residence is somewhere else, is what I'm gathering from everything they've said today. So all signs point to a move back east where I have family, I have friends, like this boy right there, Nakattack, you know? And I don't know. It's a lot of shit pointing to signs of us coming home in the very near future. Even though I really, really wanted to stay out here for a little bit longer, just maybe a couple months down the line, but that may not happen. So, um, just keep us in the thoughts and prayers, guys. And if anyone can donate to the GoFundMe, please do. It would be greatly appreciated. I'll post that link in the chat. And if you guys are watching this on a later date on the YouTube, just hit us up on the Twitter, and I will post it there as well later on. Again. So that's what's going on. Other than that, fun times with my brother. My brother came out. He was here for a poker tournament. Didn't do so hot on that, but that's not that's not all he was here for. He was here to hang out with me and catch up and whatever else. But you guys can see some of the escapades on the pictures on the TikTok and the Facebook. If you guys are friends with me on there. But yeah, that was my week. I also did an interview yesterday with Johnny from Highly Suspect. You guys can check that out. That's going to be back on the YouTube as well when I get off air here, maybe tonight or tomorrow. But yeah, life is all right for my health wise and everything else. But Nakattack, who's ready to take a big shit on this movie that we watched? Are you ready to take a big shit on this movie? Because I am.
Yeah, I'm not sure I hated it as much as you, but it's definitely one of the weaker Rambos.
I think it was a movie that should have never been made, honestly, because you look at this story of a movie. It was kind of like Taken 6, like it was another Taken movie that he should have ended when the thing happened to that girl, and then Rainbow and then Sloane got her back, and it should have ended there. You know, it should have just ended with him like going down there, killing them all off there, instead of having them come to the compound, which he had kind of going on with everything, which was kind of like what you said.
Yeah, well, that's part of the issue. It felt like two separate movies, kind of back to back. Like the first half was, like you mentioned, a Taken clone, and then the second half, weirdly enough, was an ultra-violent Home Alone.
Yeah, it was definitely an ultraviolet.
And it seemed like they were like two separate ideas for a movie, and they just kind of crammed them together.
Yeah, yeah. It was definitely one of those movies where it was like, okay, we know what's gonna happen. Like, Rambo's just gonna kick ass, and get his revenge, on these assholes for what they did, and it was kind of like, it wasn't like an over thought out plot or character plan for these characters, because, oh, they're drug lords in Mexico. They're sex trafficking young girls from across the border. Haven't we seen this before? Haven't we seen this in real life? Like, why do we need a movie that is too realistic? Whose ass did he kick in this time? Well, we'll talk about it, okay, Danya? We'll talk about it here in a second. But yeah, like, it was kind of like, okay, why did we have to have him, like, set this up? Like you said, it was like a Home Alone montage of him setting up all the traps and everything. It was kind of like, okay, cool, like, Kevin Malone has now, not Kevin Malone, Kevin McAllister. Kevin Malone's from The Office, sorry. Kevin McAllister from Home Alone, grown up, and joined the military, and changed his name to John Rambo instead of Kevin McAllister. That's what it seemed like. Like, it definitely seemed like, oh, let's make an ultraviolet, like, movie, Home Alone-esque style, for the adults. And we definitely had that. We definitely had that with all the traps and the killing spree that he went on with all these idiots that were like, oh,
I will say that the second half is fun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all pointless, but the second half is fun. If not a little bit too mean spirited. I feel like some of those deaths are just like very excessive, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the one where the guy's head exploded when he was with the shotgun in the tunnel there. That was pretty fun.
Yeah.
To see the guy's head explode like the way it did. It was like boom.
Well, there's that, and there's moments too when like those two guys were dead, and he just starts like shooting the corpses, and it's like,
what was the point?
It's getting a little uncomfortable now.
What was the point? Like, when they caught the guys on fire, then he shot them. But like, dude, they're already dead. Like, what the fuck? Like you think the dead body's gonna feel any pain? No, dude, the dead body's there. He's dead. Like, I'll tell you, like, I didn't feel sorry for the niece because the niece made the stupid issue. Oh my God, my friend found my father. Da da da. I'm gonna go down to Mexico.
All right, here, pause. Here, let's go through the plot because we're hopping all over the place.
Yeah, because this movie sucks.
Okay.
In my opinion, I'm sorry, I hated it.
It's competently made. It's not like so bad it's like a broken film. It's just so generic. But
it is
anyway.
generic.
Okay, so
that's why it was boring.
It basically takes place.
The first half was boring as fuck. I didn't feel bad for the niece at all because she was a bitch. Oh, I want to go find my father. My best friend in Mexico found him.
Yeah, well, I tell you what. Like, I noticed a couple spots in the first half of that film where it looked like scenes just ended. Like, it seemed like there was a lot more character build up that they just totally cut out of the film. If I had to guess, I mean, that one scene in particular when he's talking about letting her friends hang out in the tunnels. Like, he's literally in the middle of a sentence and the scene just ends. I was like, oh, okay, I guess they just cut the scene there. Like, there were a couple spots where I was like, there's definitely more that like they just cut out for time or whatever.
Bring your
It's
friends over.
frustrating.
Bring your friends over. They can have a good time. They're gonna go have a good time and like, all right, the boyfriend like she like basically said, "Fuck you. I don't want to do anything in these tunnels, babe." Da, da, da. And then I'm gonna go find my father, and then I'm gonna get a V on my neck, and then be heroin overdose because these assholes are fucking pieces of shit. Yeah, yeah.
All
I'm
right,
sorry.
all right.
Go
Here, hold
ahead.
on. You're getting ahead of everything again.
Reel
Okay,
me
so
in. Reel me in. I'm
basic plot
sorry.
rundown. So the film takes place, I guess, in real time, 10 years after Rambo 4,
I guess.
which had, by the way, the most pitch perfect ending to the series. So Rambo 5 pointless. That shot at the end of Rambo 4 where it just there's Rambo walking up to the ranch and you see the last name on the mailbox. It was beautiful.
I've never
The
seen
character
Rambo
came back
4.
home. It was perfect.
I haven't seen half of these
But
movies. I'm not really a fan. That's why.
so, yeah, I guess Stallone had a bug up his ass. He's like, oh, well, I got these Creed movies are doing good. I'm gonna bring Rambo back. So
No.
I mean, and to his credit, he did this with Rocky Balboa. Rocky Balboa was a huge hit. Then he made Rambo a huge hit. He brought both these characters back well past their primes.
Mm-hmm.
And I love John Rambo and I love Rocky Balboa. Rocky 6, Rambo 4, if you don't know what I'm referring to. And 10 years later, he tried to do it again. I haven't seen the Creed films. I guess I hear they're okay. But yeah, Rambo 5 was just a mess. But anyway, the plot is, I guess his adopted niece. I wasn't quite sure the familial relationship he had with these ladies. His niece gets kidnapped while in Mexico trying to reconnect with her estranged father. Rambo goes down. He tries to get her back. He pisses off some drug cartel guys. They basically murder his niece. Rambo declares war. That's pretty much it. That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah. I mean, he goes down, kills the one brother who slashed the daughter and him on the face. So he kills the one, and then the other one is like, okay, I have to get revenge on this American asshole. So he, has the address because he still has his ID. I think that's probably how they knew where he lived.
They took his driver's license.
Yeah, that's why. I was like, oh, they still has his ID from earlier. Subplot hole not recognized after the fact they already showed it once. Like, oh, okay, cool. Like, we have your ID. We're gonna come and get you. So it was kind of like, oh, so it was already set up that they were gonna probably come after him, and it was predictable because you knew from the get-go that, like, it was like a generic, oh, the good guy is gonna kill the bad guy and get his revenge and make them feel the pain of losing the loved one that they did. And also, by the way, Sammy, thanks for coming in on the chat. We're talking about Rambo 5 Last Blood, which is on HBO Max or at your local library, or wherever movies are sold.
I love that you keep plugging the local libraries, because that's where I got my copy.
That's why that's why I keep on saying that, because of you. It's on Hoopla.
All right, John's life in the chat is asking when Rambo 5 came out. I think it was 2019.
It was 2019. 2019.
Yeah, and we talked about this a little bit last time, but like for some reason I just remembered there was a Rambo 5. Like I know it came out, and I totally missed it then. And the pandemic was probably part of that, but at the same time I can see why this movie just kind of got released and was totally forgotten, because there's really nothing here.
Yeah.
Other than some excessive violence, which isn't really new at this point. When it wasn't John Rambo, that was exciting because it was kind of new, and like you weren't really expecting that from a Rambo movie. I mean, Rambo movies were violent, but not to that degree. But here they just kind of repeated it, but here it felt more hollow than it did in John Rambo.
Well, here I got the pictures up now. This is still of Sylvester Stallone and Jessica Madsen in Rambo: Last Blood. All right.
Yeah. All right, and I wanted to bring this up with John. I was talking to him before the show about how distracting Sylvester Stallone's face is because of the plastic surgeries he's had, and it's like it just kind of ruins the character for me because like John Rambo would not be getting plastic surgery on his mug. Sylvester Stallone, yes, but John Rambo, no. Like he should be looking like more like a grizzled old man, not just you know Sylvester Stallone.
Look at him. Look at him in that picture. I mean, it's like, oh, look at me. I got
Yeah.
like a.
That's not the face of a 70-year-old man that's seen all the shit the John Rambo character has
No,
seen.
he doesn't even look like 70 in the face, bro.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the first things that kind of took me out of the story. Like you could see it a little bit in Rambo 4 because he was in like early 60s then, but it wasn't so distracting. It was like, okay, maybe he's just aging well, but here it's like, nah, he looks too plasticky, too fake. It just doesn't fit John Rambo as the character.
I mean, he looks like an older Alex Winter in this picture. Alex Winter is from Bill and Ted. If you guys don't know who he is, or even.
And you also kind of nailed too why this doesn't quite fit as a Rambo movie because it's more of like a revenge fantasy film.
Yeah.
Like this is the type of movie like Clint Eastwood would make, not so much Stallone.
Yeah. We're looking at pictures right now of Sylvester Stallone killing Sergio Perez Manchetta, who played the one bad guy, the Martinez brothers. Like, we had that journalist for like a hot minute. Like, what was her point? She saved Rambo, but then like he got saved by the doctor, and then he leaves her, and then comes back to like, you need to help me, and then she's like, oh, I'm not gonna help you. You got to revenge, We gotta make them feel the pain of what we felt. It's like, dude, really?
Yeah, they didn't flesh her character out enough.
No.
Whether there was stuff cut with that character, but it just seemed like they didn't know what to do with that reporter character. We just needed someone to help Rambo out for the second act.
We had to make this montage the longest about our bow and the traps and everything, and like.
Wait, don't be dissing the fun part of the movie.
No.
When it got really stupid, it was really fun.
Yeah, like the actor who played the father of his niece. Why didn't he just kill him? Like, why didn't he kill the father? Because the father had a part in it where if he wasn't in Mexico, this wouldn't have happened. This would have been like, downtown Denver or where the fuck they would have been. I don't know. I'm just guessing random places.
Is this movie a little racist? Do you think? Like, I like its portrayal of Mexico. Like, they just make the whole country seem like a total shithole, and I'm like, movie, what are we doing?
Let me just state a fact.
And I don't want to downgrade. Like, the cartels are definitely a problem, but the way it's portrayed in this movie, it's just like the whole country's like that. It's like, come on.
Okay, so I'm gonna say this. Why are people still leaving there? They come here.
Are they leaving Mexico, or are they going through Mexico from other countries south?
Well, they're both. I mean, everybody's coming. Like, if Mexico wasn't as big as it was, and Mexico didn't control half the other half of the South America or Central America or any of that nature of that area, because I mean, they're like the central point of like everything leaks either upwards or downwards in Mexico for like their sustainability of the drug overlords and everything. So I don't know how deep it goes because I don't know that shit and I don't look it up because I'm thinking like they can't fix their problem and we're trying to fix their problem by letting those people come through here. And I don't want to talk about it. I think it's one of those topics where it's fucked up that a culture that can't fix itself, but the people standing up against them, because either you're gonna get killed or be like either you're gonna get killed or not be killed by standing up, and if you don't stand up on your own 2 feet as a culture or as a country, you're just gonna get bullied around, and your people aren't gonna be able to succeed, and that's why they come here. And that's why when the people come here and then they send their money back to their families in their other cities and other cultures, that's where things get muddy, because they're helping themselves by coming here to help save money to send to their family back home, which it stimulates the other country's economy and not ours. You know, that is the loophole people are using, and I get it. They have to, because their culture is all messed up, or their cities and their uh, countries are all like fucked up in the head, and they don't have much to do because they don't want to fix it. They just want to ride the systems that have been put in place years and years before they were even there, because that's how we are. We don't like. We've seen out here in Vegas as, okay, we're gonna shut this casino down. We're gonna tear it down to build something nicer. We're not gonna build houses. We're not gonna build shit. We're gonna build another casino. All right, we're gonna put this up. I'm sorry, I'm going on tangents, but it's like how this movie was, where you're going into Mexico because they're drug lords.
I think you got lost in the weeds. I don't even remember what my original point was anymore.
I mean, was it racist? Was this movie racist?
Oh yeah.
I don't think it was. I don't think it was, because maybe they did their research a little, or maybe they were taking bits and pieces.
I think it slightly is, because it's such an exaggerated portrayal of Mexico.
I don't have Mexican fans. I don't have Mexico people here watching me.
So and I say this knowing that the director has lived in Mexico for 20 years or so. So I mean, I'm sure he used some of his knowledge to get into some of the criminal elements. Like I'm sure there's definitely accuracy with what the cartels do. I know these are like evil people, but at the same time, like they just make the whole country seem like that. And then it's like, well, we need our white savior to come down and fix the problem.
But he's not white. He's Italian.
Dude.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He's Italian. He's an Italian savior of America. He's John Rambo. Well, let's see. Why couldn't we have a white American play John Rambo then? Would that be too racist then? Would that be whitewashing a movie?
What?
I don't know.
You are losing me big time, dude.
I don't know. I'm just using terms. I'm sorry. Because you're like, how is John Rambo white? I thought he was Italian. He's not Caucasian. He wouldn't put... Would he put Caucasian under when he put... I don't know. I'm just rambling on. I'm sorry about a shitty movie. I'm sorry. The whole plot line was like from other movies. Like, you know, like we've seen this. Like, oh, like, I don't know. Go ahead, Nakattack. Go ahead. I'm not trying to shit on a movie that you kind of enjoyed. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, I just enjoyed it on a pure, stupid, visceral level. Like I had a lot of fun watching it, but then as the movie ended and I was thinking about it, I was like, there's nothing beneath the surface. I couldn't tell you the villains' motivations at all. I couldn't tell you their names other than they were brothers.
Martinez brothers.
I mean, it's just...
What did you like? Daniel, what did you like? You didn't watch Rambo 5. I don't think you even watched it. I don't know what you liked. You liked my rant? I'm sorry. I'll just shut up. I don't know what my wife is thinking about in the chat. Pieces of it. Oh, she's seen pieces of it. She's... Tanya... Whatever. Go ahead. Go ahead, Nakattack.
I don't know, just... yeah, I just thought it was just a little too mean-spirited. Like, when he's interrogating that guy and he, like, cuts out his collarbone, basically.
Yeah, dude, he's just like.
I was like, God, this is like it's hard to sympathize with Rambo because he's so like mean to the villains.
Well, would you be that mean if they took your wife or your kids? Would you do that? Would you be like that visceral and sadistic that you fucking ram your hand into someone's chest and grab their heart out like he did? Like like how would you feel if they took your niece or your nephew?
Yeah, I'd be pretty mad, but at the same time, it's like the way it was just the violence is portrayed that Rambo performs is just.
It's 2024. They're like, oh, you know what?
It's not.
We're
It's
gonna
not.
go. We're gonna go
He's not. He's not
Terrifier
portrayed as like a
level.
hero. He's more like the Punisher,
We're gonna go Terrifier level on.
which goes against what the character has been. And
Yeah.
I don't know if they're trying to like make some statement about what war does to you throughout the years, but it didn't really come across that way.
War. It's hell of a drug.
It just came across as, I want to make another action movie. Oh, and I gotta tell you the funniest thing. We watched a little bit of the special features on the DVD, and there was like a film diary that Stallone was doing for the making of it. We watched a couple of those, and he had this funny remark. He was like, "I don't like action movies. Like Rambo's not an action movie." And then he goes, well, maybe the second one, but Rambo overall is not an action movie. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, Rambo is totally an action movie. Like, even the first one, which has a lot of dramatic elements, that's definitely an action film. I was like, what? Like, Stallone, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, these are action movies. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they're action movies, all right. Action movies that Hollywood decided to put out. I'm like, damn. Really? Like, did we have to go this way with the Rambo movie? Did we have to see, like you said, an old Sylvester Stallone kicking ass and taking names for another time? No, we didn't. But the Hollywood did it. I mean, what are they doing?
And it could have been done right. It could have been done right. I mean, look what they did with the Logan. Like, if they had like some sort of story like that, it would have been a great send off. But
he didn't die.
we just got this lazy action movie.
I'm gonna go sit on my chair on my porch, and I'm gonna try to survive. I'm gonna put pressure on my fucking cut, my gunshot wound, and I'm gonna survive. And we're gonna.
The thing I kind of hated about the ending after thinking about it was how stupid he set everything up just so he could isolate that one guy.
Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna kill you this way.
He promised he was going to rip his heart out, and then sure enough, at the end, he cuts him open, rips his heart out, and shows it to him. I gotta admit, I was laughing pretty good at that part because it was so stupid.
This is your heart. It's in the shape of a prime rib. Like, it looked like prime rib. It did. It looked like a meaty slab of prime rib with the bone sticking out of it. Like, the artery looked like a bone, kind of, didn't it? I was like watching it yesterday. Okay, am I not right? Am I mistaking it, or did not look like prime rib?
Although I do say I do love that Rambo's ranch, that he dug out all these tunnels underneath the ranch for the decade he was living there.
Yeah.
It was stupid, but I loved it.
Yeah, like I thought I would have seen more action during the tunnel scene where the kids were there. I thought he was gonna do something to the dude for trying to fuck with his niece. But that didn't happen. They had a little party and then it cut it out, and then they were already in the next morning of I'm gonna clean up I have to clean it up because they made a mess. What's the fucking what the hell was that? Like, that was just dumb.
I think this movie actually could have been better if they would have combined both halves of the movie instead of just having them being like two separate entities.
Yeah.
Like, say the drug cartel just for some reason chases one of the kids to this party because I don't know, he was stifling one of them for drug payment or something, and oh shit, there's this special forces guy here, and then that escalates to an all-out war. But then there's hostages in place, so it just kind of raises the stakes a little bit as opposed to just having his niece completely separate from everything, and he's just chasing her down. I feel like that would have been better. It would have been a better movie. Heck, they could have kept the budget down because they could have kept it all in that ranch.
Yeah, but they didn't. They didn't do any of that. They just took a big shit on it and made it look like a movie that should have just not been made in the way it was made. I mean, honestly, it was not a movie that I would have watched, because like if I would have watched the trailer, like when this movie first came out, I think I did see the trailer. I'm like, I don't want to see this movie ever, but someday I probably will have to watch it, and I did, and I'm glad I watched it, but I'm glad I didn't need to watch it. I didn't want to watch it. I did. I started it. I fell asleep to it. I started it. I paused it. I walked away. I was thinking I was gonna tell Nakattack, I didn't finish the movie. I thought that was gonna be one of the movies that I never finished, but I finished it, and I was like, yeah, this was so generic of a movie that it did have those two movies attached to it, like Home Alone and Taken, because it was, you got kidnapped in Mexico kind of thing. So, with that being said, Nakattack, let's get down to our final rating of Rambo 5 Last Blood, or is there anything else you want to say about it before we go further?
No, I mean, we both kind of touched upon it already, but Rambo 4 had it should have ended there. It had a great final shot. It was good closure for the character, and he just had to go back to this well one too many times.
Definitely. So, my final rating is a 1.5 out of 5. It had great action scenes, and that's about it. The fight scenes, the heart being pulled out, the deaths, that was pretty fun. But like, I wasn't really cheering for him. I wasn't cheering for the niece because she was kind of a idiot for believing her friend who had to leave to go down to Mexico to stay there because she was already a renegade back home, and whatever. But when we first laid eyes on the friend, I was like, okay. And then she laid her eyes on that bracelet that Rambo's niece had. I was like, yep, this bitch is gonna fucking turncoat on her, and sure right she did.
They didn't hide that at all.
Yeah.
It was like the second you see her, she's like, yeah.
this bitch be tripping and fucking in the system of fucking Khan and friends, so to say. But yeah, 1.5 out of 5. Didn't like half the people in the movie. Wasn't really cheering for Rambo because you already knew what the hell was gonna happen. Like, oh, they're gonna kill him off and the villains are gonna win. No, in every Rambo movie, who wins? Rambo wins. The good guy wins. It's the stereotypical good guy versus bad guy movie. So Nakattack, what is your final rating? And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not too far off the mark from you. I give it a 2 out of 5.
Okay.
Like you mentioned, I mean, it was just totally unnecessary. I mean, it was Taken, it was Home Alone, but it wasn't Rambo. It was just Rambo in those two type of movies. And I mean, the action is fun. I love the siege on the farmhouse because it's just so stupid. But when this movie gets very stupid, it also gets very fun. But again, there's no stakes. There's nothing. There's no reason to root for Rambo. The villains are so generic. There's just nothing there. I mean, not that the villains in these Rambo movies were ever like super fleshed out, except maybe the first one. But there was at least a little more meat to them than on all the other sequels. But yeah, this was just pointless.
Yep.
I mean, as far as the Rambos go, I'd say, I'd say this is probably the worst one. Even Rambo 3, for all its flaws, that still has, that at least feels like a Rambo movie.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Rambo 3 was kind of stupid as well, but I never saw that. And
Yeah, well, they made that one PG-13 because,
oh,
why?
yeah, why? Why would you?
Although that one is aged kind of interestingly because he's actually fighting alongside the Taliban in that one,
Oh
which
God.
at the time the Taliban was the enemies of Russia in Afghanistan at the time. So it's a weird, it aged weird.
Yeah, that did age weird. Um, so we don't have a lot of people here this week, and I figured we would have some people, but before we went live, Nakattack said if there wasn't enough people to vote on the next movie, I get to choose the next movie, and I will choose the next movie, even though I didn't think we were going to be able to watch this movie, even though Nakattack has seen this movie, and I was like, oh, he probably watched it because his kids, and I'm right, because his kids wanted to see it, and I know Nakattack, all intents and purposes, wanted to see this movie as well. We are going to choose, drum roll please, ding, 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 ding. We have a winner by unanimous decision by no votes. We are going to be watching Good Burger 2. Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. May take your order. I think it's on Paramount Plus, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, it is.
It is on Paramount Plus. Is it on anywhere else? Do you know, Nakattack? Do you know if it's? I don't think it's at the library. Is it? Is it at the library? I didn't check.
It might have a home release at this point.
Yeah, but we're gonna be watching that because I haven't watched it yet, and I think it would be a perfect film.
It's a good palate cleanser from Last Blood for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a palate cleanser. I think it's gonna make us laugh. That's about it. That's all I got to say. I mean, there's not much else to say, but we're gonna be gearing up some burgers probably for that. Both of us are gonna eat Nakattack will eat a late night burger, and I'll make a burger, on that. Also, before we go, Nakattack did have a question for me, and I forgot to start doing this. Nakattack's question to me: if I was supposed to create Rambo 5, what would it be? Well, A, if I didn't have to make Rambo 5, I wouldn't want to. B, my second option would be this. And we're going to get into this real quick. I know this was supposed to be during the episode, but we're going to do it at the end. Nakattack, my Rambo would be John Rambo fighting for the rights of the people of the United States of America. I think Rambo at 70 should run for president. Don't you think that would be hilarious? Rambo for president? You could, you're laughing. It could be like a purge. It could be like, he could be like the last man standing. It could be like that Sylvester Stallone movie with the Running Man movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, Running Man. You can have Running Man.
You're losing me. Okay, how's the Running Man plot incorporated in the John Rambo running for president?
It's a game.
I'm intrigued
show.
now.
It's a game show where you win presidency. I don't know. Something fucking stupid like that. And my wife's
this must be how Macho Camacho became president, right?
Yeah, Idiocracy. Yeah. See, I'm thinking of great movies. That would be fun to watch. I think we'd get a laugh. Like we would have random people that you thought it would be like a celebrity deathmatch movie, kind of like. I don't know. Danya's like, I
Oh,
love
and
that
it
idea.
would also happen to be a stealth Expendables sequel, right?
Yeah, and then you would have, the Expendables. Expendables. They killed Stone Cold in the first movie, and I'm like, fuck this, I'm not watching it. Like, why would you kill Stone Cold in the first fucking movie? You're idiots. Like, Stone Cold would be great. But you know what? Stone Cold did make a movie. What was that movie that was like the most dangerous game?
The Condemned?
Yeah, The Condemned.
It was
Yeah.
the Condemned, yeah.
Yeah, that movie was good. That movie was good.
I've only ever seen bits and pieces of it. I mean, I liked what I saw, but I never like saw that thing the whole way through.
All right, maybe we have to watch that later on after this summer of sequels, which is turning into a real fun one so far because we felt like, oh, okay, we got heat last time. We got people voting. This week, no one showed up. So I think, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put out a call for everybody. Go watch Good Burger 2. If you're not gonna watch Good Burger 2, then you're not supporting us. Or Keenan and Kel. And you know what? Next episode, we're gonna raise money so we can have Nakattack go meet his childhood friends of Pete and Pete in September. We're gonna make that happen. We're gonna make that happen, Nakattack. You are going to meet Pete and Pete. I know you want to. Hello.
That'd be surreal.
Well, they're in Hanover. They're gonna be at
Yeah, I know.
They're gonna be at Timeline Arcade. If we're not gonna get Nakattack meet Pete, I'm gonna end this show. So we're gonna see if we can get Nakattack to see Pete and Pete, and we're also gonna see if we can raise $10,000 to pay for my wife's health insurance bullshit over in Utah. But that's either here.
Don't worry about raising anything. Don't worry about money for me to see Pete and Pete. That's way less important.
We're gonna do it all. We're gonna do it all thanks to the internet, guys. Because that's what we do here. But we're gonna raid out. We're gonna get going. I'm gonna go back to bed. Nakattack's gonna go to bed too, but I'm going to bed so I can go to work tonight. And I can get like an hour and a half of sleep here. We're gonna go raid our boy the energy mixologist. He's over there playing Fortnite. Excuse me, God, I'm burping because of the beer. But yeah, that movie made me drink for sure because I didn't really mind it. But we're gonna go watch the energy mixologist right now, guys. We'll be back in 2 weeks with Good Burger 2. Thank you for everybody who tuned on the YouTube and the Twitch. But we love you guys. Nakattack, love you, brother, from another mother. You're my best friend, and I always enjoy. I'm not becoming a Mormon to please them. Okay, all right. We'll talk off air, Danya. I love you. But everybody, peace out. Much love. Peace out.